So, very good evening, everyone. I would now request Sri Kumaravelu, Chapter Co-Chair, YI Coimbatore, for the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good evening to all of you. A warm welcome to our speaker, Mr. Praveen Rajpal, Vaishnavi Shanmugam, Chair and Co-Chair of the Innovation Team, and the entire Innovation Team, as well as all our members and members from other chapters, especially Kanchipuram, who have joined us this evening. So, sir, I'm sure you've heard a bit about YI, and Vaishnavi might have briefed you as well. But I'm just going to take a minute or two just to talk about what YI does, especially in terms of innovation, what exactly we're doing here in Coimbatore right now. So Coimbatore is one of the biggest chapters for YI being Young Indians. Uh, we are a subset of the Confederation of Indian Industry. So basically, we are entrepreneurs, self-employed professionals in the age groups of 21 to 45, and we all come together to take our three pillars forward, which is youth leadership, thought leadership, and nation building. So we go about this in a couple of ways. We have a lot of events that are focused towards our members. Like today, for example, your master class is to foster innovation amongst our members and their companies. And we also work with stakeholders in schools and colleges. So we call them Yuva and Talit. So we also take forward this thought process for them. So yeah, being April 21st being World Innovation Day, for example, we kickstarted our celebrations with an innovation conclave yesterday, where we had Mr. Ramanan, who's the mission director from Atal Innovation Mission. He addressed about 300 college students yesterday. So he spoke about our country with a billion people and how there are a million challenges and the importance of the youth to solve all these challenges with innovative ideas. And we followed this up with a startup journey from two startups from two incubators that are located in Coimbatore, PST Step and Forge. So they shared their stories, sort of try to inspire the students on a sense of entrepreneurship, on innovation and where the current trends are. And along with this, we also have certain verticals called climate change, gift and organ, where we talk of organ donation. We do a lot of work on road safety. Masum, for example, where we educate children on safety and awareness. So our own members do a lot of work towards the society, and they're also in the chapter for their own growth and improvement. So in a nutshell, that's what we do at YI. And when I was looking at Mr. Praveen's LinkedIn page a little earlier when the session was put up, his work towards fostering innovation is phenomenal. I mean, it was truly inspiring. And he is one of the most sought after innovation thought leaders the world over. And so I don't want to take up too much time. Vaishnavi, over to you to take it forward.
Yeah, thank you, Kumar. Thank you. So, like Kumar said, we celebrated the Innovation Day yesterday, and in lines with that, we wanted to do something for our members. So, when we, the innovation team, were planning to do a master class, all of us felt, we need to get a global innovation thought leader. And here we have today Mr. Praveen Rajpal, global innovation thought leader, founder Innovatio Next, and founding MD of World Innovation Network Private Limited. So before I hand over the session to him, I shall do a brief intro about Mr. Praveen Rajpal. He is very passionate about building the large-scale innovation capacity of India. Ex-knowledge partner of Wiki Quality Forum 1996 to 2007. He's also the knowledge partner Confederation of Indian Industry CII and has developed India's innovation framework and index widely used by Indian industries for measurement of innovation, health and growth. Is the innovation coach leading companies like Tata Motors, Altia Birla Group, ITC, and Fortune 500 companies like Samsung, JCB, Dell, and Class. He's the author of Achieving Business Excellence and Five Thinkings to Win, and many articles published in TOI and international magazines like Intrapreneur of Australia. International speaker on innovation is Mr. Praveen Rajpal and is invited by leading world conferences, and he's also a speaker at the Emerging Innovation Summit for the last consecutive 3 years. He's a developer of cutting-edge tools like Technology App, 3D Idea Generator, and ready-to-use mind maps. And he's qualified as a chartered accountant in 1985, trained by Japan Productivity Council and Asian Productivity Organization on process innovations. He is underwent special training at Toyota, Nagoya, Japan, on Toyota production systems as well. and he's recipient of Global HR Excellence Award from the World HRD Congress for global contribution to training and development, and has been selected as the top 30 leaders by Times of India's Lead India campaign. So that's the profile of the speaker that we have for today. And sir, we're really delighted to have you here to address us on this Innovation Week. And we're really looking forward to key takeaways on the innovation framework that we can all start following in our business. Over to you,
Thank you.
Mr. Naveen Rajma.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, so much for organizing this, for inviting me, and thank you, Mr. Kumar, for your kind words, for my brief introduction. Humbled and excited at the same time, and I do hope that uh, I'm I do hope that I'll be able to make the valuable contribution to the young Indians that you have, and especially to the thought leadership programs that you have, and to the leadership programs that you are focusing on for the nation building. I mean, we are, I think, running through one of the most challenging times in the career that I have seen in the past so many years. The economy wants to come up. The economy wants to uh, somehow recover. And again, we have the pandemic, which somehow stops us from doing that. uh, Yesterday was the World Creativity and Innovation Day, as you know, by the United Nations, and they also said that 2021 should be the year of creativity and innovation, where people should come out with new methods of fighting out the COVID that we have, and avoid the kind of disruptions that we all are facing. Well, having said so, I would like to uh, take you through. We have how much time for the presentation, Vaishnavi? We have 1.5 hours. It is up to 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then do we have any Q&A, or do I make the presentation for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then we have 15 minutes of Q&A? How do you want to
One
go
hour,
about it?
15 minutes, and then we'll take 15 minutes of Q&A, sir.
Okay, so 1.5 hours includes everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I would like to see that the presentation is completed within that time. Good evening once again, and I welcome you all to this platform of young Indians. I have a very close association with CII, and I do hope that the session will add great amount of value. I have a request: please jot down your questions that you may have, or any kind of points for discussions that you may have, so that we can take it up in the last 15 minutes, and I can have the uninterrupted presentation during the meanwhile. So I start with the CII innovation framework. This is the framework which was developed by me, and the reason this framework was developed was, how do we create innovation-driven growth for the Indian organizations and change the mindsets of innovations, which were there earlier. This was developed about 5 to 6 years ago. It was launched by Sam Pitroda. It is called the CII Innovation Index, and eminent people like Chandrajit Banerjee and other people. If I can just show you the glimpse of the. This is how. Yeah, this is how it looks like. It is called the Industrial Innovation Index. I hope you can see my screen. Uh, can you
So
see
we're
this?
able to see only your first slide, new paradigms of innovation.
Why it is not allowing me to show the complete screen? I'm not able to understand that. Just hold on. So which means I have to go and change every time, right?
Yes, sir.
Or is it
Actually, you can do, sir, if you can guide you that if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before that, you have to stop screening, sir. I mean, stop
Yeah.
sharing.
Stop
Yeah.
share. Yeah.
First,
Yeah.
first, first. Okay. So you have to open your PPT. So hope it's open already.
Yeah, the PPT is open. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you have to click FI or slideshow from the PPT.
But that is coming. But
Yeah, that's
I
coming. So now you have to click Windows D, sir. You have to come back to the desktop.
no, there was an option where I was able to share the entire screen at one go, and whatever I was doing, it will come there. No, that's
Yeah,
not
so
possible.
you can still do that, sir. Yeah. So for that you have to click that green thing, and you have to
Just one
instead
second.
of
Yeah,
file you have to go for the file basics.
yeah. No, but there was one particular. I don't know where it has gone. If it is whiteboard, now supposing what is this whiteboard?
It's
Do-
not whiteboard, sir. The one the below that, the one below that.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Now this is for the entire screen.
Yes, that's the entire screen where you can, yeah,
Okay.
you
So
can
now you can now you can see the innovation index,
exactly. Yes, we
and
can
you can
see
you
all.
can also you can also see the PPT now. Can you also see the PPT?
Vaishnavi, can you see the
So we
PPT?
can see only the index, sir, not the
That,
PPT.
that is what is the problem. I'm not able to switch between you know the screens because it never happened before.
Can you minimize this one, sir? Can you minimize this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can actually see your screen altogether. If you minimize this and you can open the PPT and you can show the content there.
If I minimize this
Yeah.
and if I show the PPT, uh, you can see the PPT now.
Yes. Minimize this, please.
Yeah.
Every time you have, when you are trying to show the different file, you have to minimize it and you have to open it separately, sir.
I see. Okay, but I don't know. This is something uh, very different, not experienced earlier. So now you can see the CII Innovation Index, right?
Yes, sir, we can see the innovation index now.
Yeah. Now let me minimize this and go to the PPT. You can see the PPT now.
Actually, not.
Yeah. So it says that your screen sharing is paused. Resume the share. There is some technical problem, it seems. Anyway, or do I log in once again to do that?
Actually, it's not required, sir. I do not know why it's happening.
Your screen sharing is paused. It says new share, resume share. I don't know. Let
Uh,
me give me a minute. Let me again log in and come into the system again.
yeah.
There seems to be some problem. Anyway, can you see the PPT now? Can you see the PPT?
No, sir, not yet.
How do I log out from here now?
So you have to screen share it because the screen share option is not activated from your end. Can I click that green button?
So you need to press the share screen option and then share the screen.
I don't know what is the problem. There seems to be some problem which is not allowing me to. The screen share is not coming at all, actually.
Sir, or you can mail your files to Shakti and we'll be sharing the screen. Is that okay?
So let me just log in once again.
Yeah, okay.
Were you able to, sir? Can you see that share screen button or something?
I think he's logged out, Shakti. I think he's logging in again.
Okay, yeah.
Why don't you get this PPT? No? That's the easiest because you're going to have multiple PPTs.
That's what we asked for him, Vishnu. He said he'll log out and he'll come back and
Give him
then.
a call if you have his number, no? So that explain it to him. Otherwise, he'll find it difficult. If it is possible.
So maybe you can mail us the PPT, sir, and we will share it from our side. So you're on mute.
Praveen, you are mute.
Is it okay? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there used to be one option for sharing the entire screen that I'm not getting here. I don't know why I'm not getting that, but nevertheless, I will go one by one,
Okay.
maybe I will, you can see the screen now. New paradigms of innovation, right?
Yes, sir, we can see that.
Okay, now let me, which means that every time I have to show you something, I'll have to switch in.
Yes.
So, anyway, so uh, once again, welcome. And I would like to start with this new paradigms of innovation, which is the part of the new CII Innovation Index. And as I said, it was launched by the National Innovation Council and being widely used by many industries today for creating a discipline of innovation. Now, the whole idea that we have over here, how do we bring innovation? How do we institutionalize innovation? And how do we make it all pervasive in the organization? So the new model promotes customer-inspired innovations, networking, open innovations, co-creation, connectivity, and collaborations across the organizational functions for driving breakthroughs. This is the whole idea. And so there are 7 drivers of innovation, as you can see on your screen, with the customers and competition right in the center. So the first driver that we have is the leadership and strategic focus. The next driver we have is the culture and creative talent. We have collaborations and networking, idea management systems, R&D effectiveness, execution. Then we have marketing impact, These are the results, the financial impact, and the customer impact. These are the drivers and the results which we need to measure. And the good thing about this whole index is that it allows the organizations to measure their immeasurable drivers of innovation. For example, nobody thought of measuring the culture. I mean, how do you measure leadership? How do you measure the idea management systems? How do you measure your R&D effectiveness? So we created the metrics, which I'll come to later on. And so there are measurable metrics because whatever can be measured can only be improved. So the whole idea of this index, the CII Innovation Index, is to provide the measurable criteria for the immeasurable drivers, so that people can point out the areas which need the improvements and can make the tangible efforts to make the improvements for the innovation driven growth. So the whole process of innovation actually has, like many other things in the past, has also undergone a tremendous amount of change. So we really need to reimagine everything. So the new paradigms that we have of innovation, from what it used to be a closed innovation, there has been a tremendous transformation, has actually become an open innovation now. Most of the organizations are shifting to the open innovation journey, and they're driving innovation with the open innovation ballgame. Next, we have, it used to be very sporadic, I mean, once in a while. But today, innovation has become a continuous process. You cannot take innovation out of the business. And, companies which have done that, they have been wiped out from the whole industry. You can see from the example of many of the Fortune 500 companies, which used to be there in before 10 years, don't even exist in that list today. And there are many newcomers who've joined it. Another very big change which has happened in the space of innovation is that it used to be product centric, but today it is not just about the products. It is about the business models. It is about the services. It is about the relationships. It is about the market, the logistics, the supply chain, finance, market segments, processes, etc. So every business function has to think in a very innovative way today. How would you deliver your product to the customers? What will be your innovative strategy? How are you going to drive your processes? What will be the supply chain? So innovation has really, like we had the TQM movement in the past, the total quality movement, where uh, quality came out from the four walls of the uh, quality department or the quality inspection department, and became synonymous with, I would say, continuous improvement. I think that is what innovation has evolved into today. It has come out of the four walls of the R&D department, has become all pervasive, and has become synonymous with continuous evolution. It is about trying to change and morph yourself to the needs of the customers throughout. That's the journey of innovation. uh, the next part, which is very important part, innovation, as I said earlier, right now, which used to be R&D centric, has come out and involves all the business functions. So you cannot separate innovation from any function today. Let's talk about the customers. you know, People used to talk about customer satisfaction, but I don't think customer satisfaction is anymore the yardstick of retaining a customer. So people will have to think about customer imagined innovations for creating more and more loyalty. A satisfied customer can also shift anywhere. But how is it that you compel a customer to come to you with customer imagined innovations is something very, very important. From what's best to what's next. There is nothing called the best today. I mean, you imagine what happened to Motorola. The company talked about Six Sigma, 99.9999% of accuracy, but the customers are really not concerned about that. As to what kind of a management jargon do you practice, they're not bothered about it. From Six Sigma to six new products is something that the customers are looking for. And look at what happened to Motorola. This company, which used to talk about Six Sigma, is actually perfection of the known. Whereas other companies who took over, like Nokia at that point of time, were talking about imperfectly seizing the unknown. So it's not, the game is not about perfecting the known. We will have, the discontinuity has to happen more and more. The disruptions, I think the whole cycle of discontinuity, disruption, and discontinuity and evolution of innovation is something, which is very important. And that has become a very faster ballgame. The competition was confined to competitive edge. The industries were only talking about the competitive edge, but today it is all about moving beyond competition. I mean, that's how you will find that the industries actually take the leadership position, from following the industry to redefining the industry. The leadership now has completely become different. Earlier, it used to be the people reporting to you, but today, I mean, it used to be called the command and control, but today it is all about collaborative. Leadership is not just about the people that are within the organization, but it is also about the people who are outside the organization. So platforms like LinkedIn, play a very important role. So you will have to get in touch with also those people who are not the part and parcel of the organization, but they can still contribute towards your leadership, towards your growth of the enterprise. So from internal resources to leveraging the external resources, I mean, that's what the leadership has become. How do you uh, leverage, I would say, the three C's? The first C is the creativity, the next is the, the, the competency, and the third one is the capacity. So these three C's, I mean, we must know how to leverage the external resources for our innovation-driven growth. The industry growth, from the growth in an arithmetical progression or the conveyor belt fashion that we were growing, to the bold stretch targets. Let's talk about people, from functional expertise to creativity and diversity of ideas. And HR has to play a great role to ensure that they have a very diverse team of people working in the organization, so that creativity and diversity can flow from all the cultures affecting the growth of the enterprise. Where is the control now? I don't think it is about the control of people. I think it's about the freedom. You have to allow the people to discover their own greatness. I mean, that's what leadership is all about. So when young Indians, they talk about the next level of people management, they will have to understand the fact that you have to allow the freedom to people to discover their own greatness. I mean, that's the kind of an inspiration you have to provide to people, so that they can come up with the best ideas. It was intolerance to mistakes. People used to be given the pink slip whenever they were doing something wrong. But today, it's not just about, I would not say tolerance to failures. I would also say that it is really a great deal about celebrating the failures. It is only when you celebrate the failures that people get the inspiration to do more. And this is the kind of culture we brought in the Tata Motors, when people were so afraid of innovating, and suddenly then we thought that I think we have to change the mindsets of people. And the Tata Motors introduced the program which is called Dare to Try. And the good part of Tata Motors is that it's the only company which rewards the most successful failed projects. And it is the reason of this particular rewarding of the most successful failed projects that the projects like Tanishq have become great business models. Let me tell you, Tanishq actually had, bombed. It completely flopped as an idea. But then, since they have this award for the most successful failed projects, Tanishq was taken up, again in a meeting, and somebody said, why don't we have the gold carat meter, which certifies the purity of the gold to the people? And that is how I think the ladies, they got the confidence and they lost, uh, you know, uh, their reliance on the so-called goldsmiths, which were there earlier. A very small idea that, we provide you with the purity, and the gold carat meter completely changed the fortunes of Tanishq. So I think it is very important not to take failures as failures, and keep trying and building values on it, on that failure, to ensure that something great really happens. So these are some of the very important areas where the new paradigms have to really be adopted by the organizations. The organization structure typically was top down. But today, if you see, I don't think innovation is possible unless you have a structure which is top down and the bottom of structure. From vertical to cross functional, from formal to formal and informal networks. I think this is what is the organizational structure which is there. Let's talk about the R&D. So what, from homogeneous, it has completely become heterogeneous. There was nothing wrong with Nokia. I mean, this is what the CEO claims. There was nothing wrong with us. But what happened to Nokia? Samsung was smarter. They went to Silicon Valley and they partnered with Google without any innovation capabilities. So I think here was the question of an organization willing to look out. So they looked out and they partnered with Google. They had the Android, and the world leader having the 75% market share was disrupted overnight. So irrespective of whatever Nokia is doing now, but who is going to return the 7 years of the loss of billions of dollars which happened as a result of the market loss? So we are not here to sort of turn around the companies. I think this is something that we have to forget. I mean, the kind of dollars, the kind of money, and the kind of volumes of business and the customers that you lose, when you are trying to turn around is something great. So one has to actually go with the flow. So here is a great example where the organizations will have to start becoming more and more heterogeneous, and from inward looking, they should actually become more and more outward looking. So these are, I think, some very important areas, which is very important. And now let me switch over to the assessment tool that we gave. New share. And can you see the Excel sheet on your screen now? Can you see the Excel?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Yeah, great. So basically, we provided a tool for measurement of the key criteria. Uh, the 0 marks means nil, nothing has been done. 1 to 3 means weak. This is a self-assessment tool for any organization to measure their innovation health. I mean, if it is something has been done, it is 4 to 6, strong as 7 to 8, very strong 9 to 10. So we provided them, with the drivers measurement systems. How do you measure a company when it comes to leadership or customers? For example, I've given a hypothetical case over here, which shows that, we have given the markings, and in the customer section, we have divided into 3 parts: sustainable innovations, strategic innovations, and breakthrough innovations. In breakthrough innovations, number of projects to satisfy unmet customer needs. This company does not have anything, so it is 1. Number of projects which can create price disruption. Again, the scoring is very less. 2, number of projects which can create technology disruptions. This is 1. So when you see the radar chart over here, for every section that we have given at a glance, the CEO or the head of the organization, he gets to know as to what's wrong with my enterprise. So he sees that when it is the price disruption, My company is doing nothing. Technology, there is nothing. Radical solution, there is nothing. If it is an unmet customer need, that there is nothing. So we have very little on the new solutions. Also, very less we have scored on the new segments. So this gives you the health of the enterprise of a large organization as to where they are. Not only large, even a medium-sized organization, even the other organization today, that you talk about, if you have to find out the health of the organization as to where do they stand today, this gives you an immediate idea. So this is the whole idea of creating this index. So similarly, the organization measures their collaboration index, their cultural index, their systems index, their R&D index. So they try to figure out what has been the current product R&D index. So revenues generated from new technologies during last 3 years divided by total cost incurred on R&D during the last 3 years. What is the future potential index? Technology ranking of the product. If Nokia had done this, they would have never suffered the kind of the downfall that they suffered. It is very important for people to measure these criteria. Where do you stand in terms of your systems? Where do you stand? If you see the overall view, the overall total score it is given here. I mean, I have only done the customer section right now, but as you do the complete analysis, if you get 1 to 399, it's a very serious situation for the company. The company will be out in no time. If it is 400 to 600, it's an average situation. You may continue for some time. For 600 to 800 or 799, it's good. And of course, if it is more than that, it's brilliant and you have to keep it up. And this is what are if you apply these yardsticks to the most innovative companies, you will find that they stand between good and excellent. And this is the criteria. And if you see the overview, you will get the overview over here once you do the complete assessment. I have only done customers now, which shows that we are at 40%. But if we do a leadership, a collaboration, a culture and everything, we'll get to know where we stand. And you can query, you can, find out where have you scored 2 or 1. So let's say just for the SWOT analysis to figure out 1 and 2. And I say, okay, so I get to know that in the customers and competition section, number of projects for the unmet customer or the future customer needs, I have just got 1. Are you able to see this? Yeah. And then the number of projects which is far below the competitive price, which means we are charging more. And again, there is a possibility of us going out of the market, is also a problem. So this kind of assessment followed, with the audit list. Let me also share the innovation audit list that we have. New share of the innovation audit. Yeah. Can you see the audit list?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah, good. So we have this innovation audit also. We have had energy audits. We have been having financial audits. But financial audit is nothing but a post-mortem. It does not mean that since you have done very well in the last year, you're going to continue next year also. There is nothing on the future, potential index or future potential measurement of an enterprise. So we brought in this concept of the innovation audit. How do you find out that your strategy is right? Is there a powerful strategy which could be low cost, higher value, focus, wider portfolio to back up innovation agenda and to stay ahead of the competition? Is the strategy, to back innovation difficult to be replicated by the competitors? And then, alignment. Do the leaders demand bold innovation from the other senior leaders by making innovation results in their key performance measures? So this is very important. To align the whole organization. What is required to be done? Has the leadership created innovation task force to monitor and review the progress of various innovation projects? If it is yes, Click it here. If it is yes, click it here. But if it is not, these will remain as blanks. But I tell you, whatever remains blank is a very, very important area for the organization to look into and create the improvements. That is what is the whole objective of the CII innovation framework. It is extremely important for organizations to figure out, for example, customers and competition now. If you see the questionnaire which have been given over here, do we monitor the weak signals or the change in the industry, demographics and social needs to come up with new foresights for innovation? Toyota is a very great example where they figured out that the oil crisis is going to be one of the biggest weak signals. And 15 years ago, the company came out with the hybrid of the electric and the gasoline car, the Toyota Prius, which is one of the best cars on the planet today. So much so that it's completely it's redefining the entire industry. So do the marketing people research the customers to find out the unperceived and unarticulated needs? How important it is for a company to, I mean, the customers, they don't know what they want. And going by what Henry Ford said once, that if I asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. They don't know what they want. I think it is for the leadership of the company and the thinkers, the thought leaders to find out as to what the customers may need tomorrow. Nobody wanted the tabs, but Apple came out with that. Nobody wanted iTunes, but Apple came out with that, and they completely redefined the industry. So we have to have people in the organization, who can think on these lines. Do the marketing people focus on the attention on meeting unmet customer needs? One very important thing you will notice here, that innovation actually becomes the agenda of the people who are there in marketing. It is not the agenda of the person sitting in the R&D department, because the people who are close to the markets, the people who understand the frustrations, the people who understand the problems, the competition, are not the people who are into the R&D. There is a mindset there was a typical mindset, when we were doing the workshop for Hindalco, that the innovation actually belongs to the R&D function. So that one most important thing that people need to understand is that innovation is actually a marketing function. And that is when, they took out the Aditya Vikram Birla made innovation as the responsibility of the CMO, which is the Chief Marketing Officer, Sachin Satpute at that point of time, to lead the innovation agenda. Again, do the marketing people continuously interact with the R&D team to fulfill customer requirements in radically different ways? How important these questionnaires are, how important it is for the organization to actually look into this. So this kind of an assessment, again, do the marketing people explore possibilities to go beyond traditional offerings? Do they go into the unexplored directions? Do they create, areas, strive to create the price and technology disruptions? I think R&D is a service department to marketing, and that is how I think it'll be seen as. Then you go to the culture, then you will see as to what is there in the culture, idea management systems, idea generation, selection, R&D department. So the whole index is not just having a tool for measurement of your, uh, I would say, the innovation index, but it also has got the complete audit where people can figure out as to what needs to be done for when it comes to collaborations and networking. One of the very important questions: do the people network and play the role of sensors, builders, and contributors? Do they play the role of scanner, cross pollinators, and the champions to create breakthroughs? Do they have do they act as magnets to attract the new people, skills, talent, and capabilities? I think it is extremely important for people to act as connectors to build relationships for meeting the common objectives. So this is what is the CII's innovation index, which I thought would be extremely important for people to understand and gain knowledge from that. Now, this is one part of it. Now, I need to share the screen to show you something very interesting that we developed for open innovation. Yeah. So we also developed the World Innovation Network. It's called the WIN app. Can you see the app on your screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah, great. So in order to strengthen the CII's innovation index and to create more and more collaborations, we created the World Innovation Network app for supercharging the industry academia co-innovation ecosystem. I think India is the only country, probably, with that kind of a size which operates in silos. So we have the industry working as industry and we have the academia working as the academia. There is no joining of the hands. But if you see the world and the success of the world economies in innovation, I would say, I'm not talking about a particular company. The countries like Japan, the countries like Germany, the countries like USA, and more importantly, and very recently, I would say, the countries like Korea, they are the ones whose innovation ecosystem has flourished because it believes in collaborations. So we believe that people with ideas have no money, and people with money have no ideas. I mean, that's how it goes on. Countries with technologies are the mere dots on the world map. I mean, if you look at Finland, if you look at Denmark, if you look at Switzerland, who are top-rated organizations, top-rated countries in the world, they have no markets. Where is the market? The market exists in countries like India and China, and countries with markets have no technologies. So I think the world was designed primarily for collaborations. However, it was made to, be seen by some people in a very different way, and we divided the world with the warfare. And so probably the supernatural power is very angry. And now we have a warfare from a virus which has got no borders because we just forgot to collaborate. This virus does not see which country it is attacking. I think humans will have to evolve and we have to finish all the systems of division that we have, of creating a system where there is more of cooperation and collaboration. The whole industry today has to become the scale up of the startups. I see the future industry as platforms where the startups will scale up. So we created this app, and you can see this app is basically connecting the world's innovation ecosystem with the universities and with the academia, which can scale up their startups, which can scale up their innovations. Because while the students will have the ideas and the passion and the energy, what they will not have is the management experience, the financial muscle, and most importantly, the marketing powers. Therefore, when Amit Sood, who had the idea of a virtual museum, he went to Google and look at Google. Google said, "What if we make you the head of this project?" And today, you have the virtual museum of Google, where you can actually go and explore any museum in the world, sitting on your computer or sitting on your smartphone. So here is where the passion met the technology powers of Google. So I think it is more about the intrapreneurship. It is not just about the entrepreneurship. So the open innovation which is practiced by the Indian companies today, So we created an app to connect the challenges of the big organizations or the MNCs with the universities, so that the universities can become the part of the innovation ecosystem. I tell you, the employees and the ideas generated by the employees within the organizations are absolutely finite. So that is why, look at this website, the BizLabs Next Accelerator, which is by Aditya Birla. And we played a very important role in opening up the cultures of the Aditya Birla to the open innovation, which I described in the first chapter of the CII Innovation Index. It is all about the open innovation. So as you click over here, you enter the Aditya Birla Group organization's innovation ecosystem. It is so difficult for a university to enter the company today and find out what they need. But one click, and I am here where I know that these are the challenges that Aditya Birla Group is facing today. So I can immediately see the challenges. If I have a startup, the startup can apply here. If I'm a student, I can apply here. If it is others, they can apply here. And they say the number of days which are left for you, you can see all the challenges. You can see what is about the biz labs, about the innovation programs, about the open innovation challenges, about the innovation themes, the hackathons that we have. So this is how you enter the organization, seek a collaboration, pilot the opportunity, get the potential investments or the research grant. How interesting it is. So we have connect similarly, we have GeoNext. Then we have Mobility and the Automobile Innovation Lab in India, which is Maruti Accelerator. Now, if there are people who have got ideas on the safety or the digital ideas about Maruti or the future of the mobility, they can straight away enter. So one of the best, so with the aim to provide a platform for technology startups that are looking to work towards new digital innovations into the mobility and the automobile sector, Maruti Suzuki Mail is more than just a startup accelerator. What a boom time for the people who are creating the technical startups. It was so difficult to get the people who are going to grow your startups earlier. Who is going to mentor? So we have got the industry mentors now available for the startups. I think for the young Indians, it's a boom. I would say this kind of a platform like World Innovation Network is really a boom, which provides them with the mentors, which provides them with the funds, which provides them with collaborations and everything that you're looking for to scale up your startup. So which means that gone are the days when the startups used to be failures. And the record says that 90% of the startups have failed. And the reason for their failure is basically there was nobody to catch hold of. There was nobody to, lift them up. I don't believe that there's going to be any startup which cannot tie up with a large organization. So you move into these kind of domains. Amazon Sambhav. You must have heard about the Amazon Sambhav program. $250 million is what they're investing. One click and I'm inside the Amazon Sambhav, and you learn about the various needs and various programs, various initiatives that Amazon Sambhav is doing. So you can see that this is basically a one-stop destination for people to figure out what and how they can also grow in an open innovation path. So there are many of these companies. Tech Mahindra, we have innovation, we have Infosys, we have ONGC Startup Accelerator, we have Oil India Accelerator, Startup Funds, NTPC Accelerator, HPCL Programs Accelerator, Bharat Petroleum. So many organizations. Which company do I want to partner with, depending upon my area of the startup that I've created. So for the young Indians and for people who are really looking to scale up their businesses today, it is an extremely important thing. Let me show you the MNCs. There are so many organizations we have given the links to, whether it's Tata or Tata Consultancy or Wipro. So every organization is there now. Boom time for people who are trying to start their own businesses or to create their own ventures. Then, let me come to the MNCs. Look at the the corporate venturing companies which have come up in the last about 1 or 2 years. They're mushroomed to invest in the potential ideas because it is very, very easy to get the ideas in the early stages of the company. So we have Google and Alphabet Ventures, we have Microsoft Venture, we have GE Ventures. Look at the venturing companies. We have Samsung Ventures, Intel Capital, we have Cisco. Name a company, and they have got a corporate venturing company today interested in finding out the potential ideas that they can invest in. And let me tell you, I would like to reiterate here, they are not just interested in their own core sectors. They are interested in any of the ideas which will have great potential in the market. I mean, look at Amazon, for example. Who thought one day it will be sitting pretty with Google and with Microsoft as a cloud player? I mean, starting from a book company, because Jeff Bezos' plan was to actually, disrupt the future with the kind of new technologies like cloud. So we go back and see, accelerators by the FMCG companies. The accelerators have become the new trend for the businesses to grow. And here you can see FMCG organizations. So we did a research on Fortune 500 companies and categorized them into various verticals. This is the FMCG MNCs, for example. Look at the mantra of Procter and Gamble. It doesn't say R&D. It says CND, which is connect and develop. And the CEO of Procter and Gamble says that my turnover today in 2021, let's say $60 billion, I want to make it $90 billion the next year, but only with the mantra of connect and develop. And he has given the directives to the people that it's only the outside innovations which will come in, which means that, the outsiders have the product and I have my distribution channel. There is an empty space in the grocery store and I create my revenues. How smart, so they have completely eliminated their R&D intensity. They have reduced their R&D manpower. They have eliminated the innovation cycle time. They have eliminated failure time. They're getting the smart products from the market and they have the distribution channel and they are marketing it. And this is what they did to Gillette. So that's how, Procter and Gamble, which actually started from a candle maker first, so ever since the light bulbs came in, they started, connecting with the organization strategically to create the kind of businesses that they run today world over. And that philosophy is called CND, originally developed by Procter and Gamble. So you will find, and what they say is very important, partnering for mutual value. So it's a fact they write, collaboration accelerates innovation. In an increasingly connected world, the biggest business wins come from working together. When we partner externally, inspiration and innovation and mutual value creation are at our fingertips. Let me enter the company. 1 second, just 1 second, and I'm inside the ecosystem of the organization. The universities or any startup, trying, or anybody, young Indians trying to create some new ideas for that company today have a fantastic platform. So you can view the current needs. What is Procter and Gamble looking for? As I click this button, I can see that Procter and Gamble, Open Innovation in Action, is looking for so many new needs. One of the needs that they have is oral, personal, and family care innovations. But what are they looking over here? The young Indians may want to explore this. So they find that there are 16 current needs. One is sleep technologies. The other one is diagnostic technologies for the oral care. Then is diagnostic technologies for the healthcare, novel cleaning agents. You just go and find out. The problem is that we are trying to innovate in silos without understanding the needs of the market. And I think that is what is one of the biggest reasons for failures. But today, we know what is going to be the need of the industry. Like Amit Sood, there can be many millions of Amit Sood who can become intrapreneurs. So it can create many jobs for the young Indians. It can create entrepreneurial models. And if I really want to understand what is this model of the sleep technologies that they have, you can, or the oral care that you have, read more and submit your innovation. They have told you this is how we want your ideas into, and submit the innovation button is here. Click it and you have completely submitted your idea. They will call you or they will be at your campus, for exploring the idea in a further way. And then you negotiate your deal with them. If it becomes the part and parcel of that organization, which is going to create more revenues for them, negotiate your deal. So this kind of a platform that you have, which you are seeing over here today, 16 needs that you see here. As I go back, I can also see that there is something in the home care innovation. Indian students or Indians have got some great ideas, which can be explored over here. So if I go to the home care innovations, they say that there are 12 current needs. Isn't it beautiful?
Mr. Praveen, sorry to interrupt. We are still at the PNG screen.
I'm on the PNG screen of 12 current needs. Can you see that?
No, we are seeing only partnering for mutual value.
I don't know why it is like this. This is you're only seeing this partnering for mutual value. That's all.
That's right.
I'm unable to figure out. I don't know what is the problem with the Zoom this time. It never happened like this before. But actually, let me show it. Okay, let me share this. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, home care innovations.
Yeah. So what I was saying was that if you really see as to what Procter and Gamble is looking at, open innovation in action, you click here, oral, personal, and family care innovation, right? 16 current needs, sleep technologies, diagnose. You can see the screen now. You can see everything that I'm reading it out.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks.
diagnostic technologies for the oral care, diagnostic technologies for the health care, right? So many of the young Indians, who want to create their own startups or who have created something of their own which fits into the scheme of Procter and Gamble, they can actually connect here. And if they want to read more about the innovation, they can simply go here, understand what they are looking for, one button, submit the innovation, and you can submit the innovation. So that is what I'm talking about, that to enter an organization becomes extremely simple now. So if you see this, just one second, new share. Yeah. Similarly, we have we have the ideas. Yeah. Innovation through collaboration with Unilever. Can you see the Unilever screen now?
Yes.
Yeah. By Unilever, then we have by PepsiCo Labs, partnering with the startups. Then we have Kellogg's, the destination for the ideas. We have Starbucks, what's your great idea? Then we have the Bridge by Coca-Cola. All these FMCG companies, they are today looking to partner with the organizations so that with the startups, with the students, so that their businesses can grow. So I think it's a very important development which has happened in the world of innovation. Then you can see accelerators by the automobile MNCs. Can you see the MNC companies here, the automobiles?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have companies like Toyota. They're looking for collaborative safety research innovations. Similarly, we have Honda Accelerator. They're inviting startups and the innovators. We have Open Innovation by Daimler Chrysler. So these are all organizations. BMW Startup Garage. Then we have GM Ventures. We have Hyundai Motor group, which announces the accelerator programs. We have BMW Open Innovation Program, so on and so forth. So the whole idea of preparing this World Innovation Network is to connect the Indian startup ecosystem and the young Indians, and particularly the student community, the young entrepreneurs, with the large organizations ecosystem, so that so venture funding is not the only option. Many of the times it is the word has to shift from the startup to a sorry, I would say to a strategic startup. The strategic business models that we have to create. So with collaboration as the mantra, I think it is extremely important that more and more people actually try to understand this and take the benefit of this app, which has got more than 250 MNC companies, more than about 200 Indian innovative companies, many companies with the open innovation accelerators, who want to give a boost to the overall system that you have. So this is about the World Innovation Network app that we have. Next, I want to come to the idea generators. Can you see the idea generator, the 5x5x5 cube?
Sure, yes.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
we can see.
Yeah, great. Just 1 second. Let me just find it. So this cube that we have here is a 5x5x5 Rubik's cube, which has been designed to provide our young thinkers. We talk about thought leadership, for example, at Young Indians. If you can provide this tool to the young Indians to create more breakthrough ideas. I'll explain to you how it works. Just give me a minute. This is the first side of the cube that you see. Let me pick up the marker. This is the second side of the cube, and this are all design ideas actually. This idea generator, the 3D idea generator, is for design innovation. The third side of the cube, the fourth side, the top side, and the bottom side. The whole idea that we have over here is how do we create new ideas from here? So, you can always create the permutations and combinations. You can pick up your ideas from here, but if you're not satisfied with this cube, pick up the mouse and simply shuffle it. As you shuffle it, you figure out as to what can be a new product and simpler model. How can you make a different product by combining two different technologies, or by combining two different products, or three different products? How can your style also be offering the wonderful solutions? So it's not just the aesthetics part of the design, but the style as solution. So we did a research on how design innovations happen, and we wanted to provide the corporates with a cube which will provide even a layman the ability to think about the creative ideas. So how can we have a product which is futuristic and better? I can again pick up the mouse and say, how do we make the product cheaper? I think this is what is one of the most important things that we have today. How do you make the cheaper products? How do you minimize on the weight of the product? When I was doing the exercise with Hindalco about 4 years back, I told them that aluminum is not going to be only for the Coke cans. You have to make aluminum ready for the automobile industry. And now when you walk into the Volkswagen plant in Pune, the first thing that you see is how do you reduce the weight of the car by 45%? And that's only possible when you substitute the aluminum for steel. And that was the breakthrough for Hindalco. Similarly, we linked, Hindalco with the construction industry because it will minimize the usage of the wood and it will create a more greener ecosystem. How do we utilize, how do we utilize various new products or new resources or the raw materials is also equally important. Can we substitute a better form of technology to resolve our challenge? And the good part is that all the ideas that you see here can be saved, can be transported to the mind maps for further development of your breakthrough innovation. So this is that cube which creates the design innovations for people, and particularly for people who do not have too much of an idea on what design innovation means. So I can clear this. I can, I can shuffle the cube. I can go on the uh, on this side, and now you look at. You can also pick up the words from here without shuffling it. I can clearly see that it is an extremely important requirement for the automobiles to become fuel efficient. And not just that, to become cost efficient. So how can we create those kind of designs, to become much more smaller, to use camera, and not just the mirrors, the virtual technologies to become digitally efficient. So I have digital and the word efficient over here. I'll be using more of the software to create a self-driven car, and I think which is very much intelligent. Now, these ideas that we have, and then how do I connect it with the ecosystem, which is prevailing around me? How do we make it an automatic connect? How do we have the user experiences which are far more better? I think these are the ideas which are going to create. And if you're not very happy with any particular idea over here, I think what you can do is simply shuffle it, go and shuffle it further. And how do you make it lightweight? So I think this center of the red color light, can you see the light over here? The lightweight? Yeah. So
Yes, sir, we can.
yeah. So how do you make the car lightweight, much more modular in form, and then you pick this up and say which can actually resolve the present oil crisis that we have. So this is how you shuffle, and you create the products, you create the new ideas, which is there for the organization. This is the 3D idea generator, which will be very useful for the young Indians thought leadership that Kumar talked about in the beginning, as to how do you provide them with the thought leadership to become the future leaders. And not just that, this was on the design innovations. I can clear this, I can pick up another cube, uh, sharing the screen. Yeah. Now this is the cube for people who want to go for the breakthrough startups. That was on the designs. So here I can actually clearly see whatever we were talking in the manual, when we started the whole idea. Uh, how do we move into the unimagined spaces when we talked about the customer imagined innovation? How can we go into the unexplored areas which has been not explored? The unserved markets forgotten by the competition, the problems which have not been yet seen, move into the different demographics of the country. Look into the applications of the new technologies. How can the drones be applied in new ways? How can we capture the needs of the customers, the integration of technologies, the evolving needs of the customers? So how can we strategize with the accelerators? And how can we find out the needs on the World Innovation Network to create some new products, and particularly when it comes to the unarticulated customer needs that we talked about. So this is how it is very important for the young leaders to come up with the unicorns and not just the copy paste ideas. So you can pick up the mouse, you can shuffle it, and you can create more permutations and the combinations. So how can you look into the cross industry? So when we were talking about Hindalco, for example, we said that Hindalco has to create new applications of the aluminum into various industries, right? How can you seek a joint venture with a technology company, right? How can you look into, how can you maximize the value propositions of an enterprise? If you're not happy with these ideas, you can shuffle it further. How can we do the co-marketing and shuffle it further, right? How can you create a new win-win with the organizations? So it is very important and we have 12 such idea generators for the design, for the startups, for needs, for IT, for telecom, for artificial intelligence, for smart products. You talk about it, for processes, for nature-inspired innovations. There are 12 such cubes that we provide in our suite, where the innovation and startup suite, which I think will be very important for the thought leadership growth that the young Indians are actually, doing today. So that is about the 3D idea generators. I would now like to come on the next product, which is equally very, very powerful product. But I have to do the screen sharing first. Just let me new share with the, yeah. Can you see the mind map of problem statement?
So we're still able to see only the idea generation 3D Rubik's Cube.
Achha, okay, just 1 second. So new share where I have. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir, we can see now.
Okay, great. Bobby, some more water. So we also wanted to help the young generation, the next generation, with the ready-to-use mind mapping templates. See, typically you will find that mind maps have to be generated or created. So we wanted to give them the ready sequence of mind maps, which goes into creation of a successful startup or a new venture, without the help of the mentor, without the help of people who would be giving the training and development to people, because it is all about digital transformation today. One does not need the mentors all the time. So how do I, look into the problem statement? No innovations happen without the problems. So first of all, we want the people to define the problem that exists today. So once you see the problem, then you have to figure out, the Japanese methodology of the 5 why analysis. Why this problem happened? What are the root causes? So you simply write here, right? Simply write here. And then, have the root causes, alternative ways of resolving the problem. So you have the design principles mentioned here. We have a design cube also, which is mentioned here. So we give you as a tip that you please go to the design cube. So what is the alter? So you can generate the idea on the idea generator cube that you saw right now, and copy and paste that idea over here. It's as simple as that, right? Then reimagine the what if scenario. So this is actually a thinker's platform, not a rote method of, trying to read about a startup and create a startup. No, it is not that. It's a practical way of creating the startups. Just give me a minute. So what if scenarios? What are the technologies which are available which can resolve this problem today? Do you need a drone or do you need a cloud system? Can you resolve it with the sensors? Can you resolve with the automation or the robotics or emerging technologies or with the green tech that you have? Then what are the new opportunities you have? Select your options. What is feasible with the partners, technology providers that you have, and what is your radical solution? So this particular mind map enables the younger generation to come up not just with a solution, but a breakthrough solution or a radical solution, which is so important. So it is a thinker's platform. Next, you go to the smart products. You can see the mind map. Can you see the mind map for Internet of Things?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah, good. So if I have to create a smart product, how do I start? Simply one click here and my mind map is ready. I can get the complete menu over here. I go here and drill it down. So an individual mind map for the smart products is on my screen. What is the kind of user experience I want to bring? It is very easy for the student, or it is very easy for the future entrepreneur, to simply click over here and write 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 or 4 experiences that I want to create. What kind of user interface that you want to be providing or you want to be creating? Would you use an existing product like Alexa, or what kind of virtual reality enablement that you want to provide? So this kind of a mind map, it really makes it very simple and easy for the students. And here you can see from the idea generators, the words have been copied and pasted here. So it is very simple. I can go back. So this was the mind map for the smart products. For the smart city, I just need to click here, right? If I want to do something for the smart cities, all I have to do is just drill it down and it says the mind map for the smart city is ready. How will I create a smart parking solution? The student or somebody may have an idea. So we have actually gone to the main idea, the principal idea, and the sub idea over here. Smart logistics solutions, smart waste management, the smart energy management solutions. So these kind of mind maps will help the students to create the smarter products in the future. Then opportunities evaluation. Once you've created the design or a concept of a smart product, it is very important to evaluate the opportunity. Right? What will be my future market? Who will be my future customers? The competition, future demographics, what will be the future solution that I need to offer, my future customer needs. I think the companies or the people today are very, very much concerned about creating a new present. They're not about creating a new future. And there is a greater and greater need. I mean, as the future disrupts very fast, today's breakthrough product is tomorrow's undifferentiated commodity. So what do we do in this kind of a scenario? We need to explore, we need to have experts, we need to create people who are visionaries. And for that visionary leadership, even for the young people, I mean, the vision has got nothing to do with the age. The idea is that, the people must be able to create the future business models, which will be able to satisfy the compelling needs of the future. And let's take an example of the electric cars today that we have. And you come up with an idea of a drone charger, because there might be cases where these cars are stuck in very remote areas where there is no possibility of a charging station. And I'm sure if a person can develop that kind of a product on this platform, you would have many, many early companies with whom you can collaborate, including Tesla. So we created a system which will enable people to create and generate some great ideas on the mind map. Then you do a competitive SWOT. Then you do a breakthrough innovation, right? How do you, what is the breakthrough innovation, first of all? So we have given all the values that will create a breakthrough innovation. All the points are here. And one of the point is, How do you exceed value above the industry norms? How do you reduce the price below the industry norms? How about the unmet customer need? What about convergence or a cross pollination of technologies? Will it create a disruption in price or technology? Right? Disruptive differentiation. Will it be a creative disruption or discontinuity? So it is for people to really, fill up this, think about it, and come up with their products. Next is a business model innovation. You may have a great innovation, but unless it is supported by a great business model, it can never become successful. So what will be your cost leadership? What will be the differentiation, your positioning? I think this is where Tata Nano failed because they never knew as to where the car has to be positioned. And by the time they realized that, every big company was making a small car. 7 years later, they went to the villages and the tier 2 or 3 cities and started exchanging with the bikes, which should have been done in the very first case. There were other problems as well. So we need to figure out how do we create stitch out a great business model. When Walmart came to India, they had a strategic tie-up with Bharti Airtel because they knew that they're getting millions of subscribers, on hand. So how do we focus on specific needs, the collaborative platforms that we can create? Can you imagine that the two competitors have joined hands, the Toyota and Maruti? So what a brilliant idea that the CEO of Toyota says that the Corolla will be available in a Maruti Nexa showroom. So imagine if he had gone in a conventional way to create the 10,000 dealers that Maruti has taken about 20 years to create. But no, he found out a very unconventional solution. This is what it is, which redefines an industry and challenges the orthodoxy. So if I am challenging the orthodoxy, I will simply write that the Toyota has to tie up with Maruti, right? So here is a case where you are actually, creating a very different level and a very different model of innovation. Then you go to go-to-market strategy. This is a mind map which will tell them as to how do you create existing channel partners, tie up with the existing channel partners, rather than creating your own channel partners, dealer network, marketing partners, customer touch points, so on and so forth. Because most of the innovations, I tell you, they fail at marketing. If a startup or if the young Indian that you have as a group, can actually address the needs of these kind of points that we have. I'll give you an example of Tata Motors truck going out for service. When I was doing a workshop for them, we gave them the idea that they should immediately get in touch with Indian Oil and the HP, network of the dealers. Their trucks will not go out and they will be a strategic model of business, which they did. So it is very important for us to find out these kind of strategic partners. So who's going to be my marketing partner? Is it going to be Walmart or a 24/7 store? So I create all this. So what will provide the ease of accessibility to the customers? I think it's all about collaborative models that we discovered. And last but not the least, it's about the scale up of the growth. How do I tie up with open innovation companies, with corporate accelerators, with channel partners, strategic networks? So we have given, if a company has to grow at the rate of about, let's say 45 to 50% in the next about 2 years, what is it that it should do? Because your venture capitalist or your investor or your collaborator, he wants to see what is your scale up and the growth plan that you have. This is what is called future mapping. So where you actually map the future by saying that this is how we will go for the unmet needs, go for the evolving future requirements, go for new technologies and new applications of them, create emerging possibilities. If it is new strategies, what about the digitization strategies that you're creating, the new directions, new markets, it could be unserved or the existing customers that you have. So the whole idea of this mind map, which starts from a problem statement and goes up to the scale up and growth, is to provide a venture development framework for creating successful and venture worthy startups for the next generation of entrepreneurs or the business people. Well, that took a little bit more time because we started late, but I'm glad that, I'm able to finish it within the time. And I'm ready to take the questions if you have any, or any kind of a point for discussion, or any other thing that you want to. Thank you for your very patient listening.
Thank you, sir. So we'll now open out to question and answer. So any questions? You can either post in the chat box or you can ask it directly to Mr. Pradeep.
Yeah, it is better if you directly ask me the questions.
Mr. Praveen, this is Prashant here. Thank you for your insightful session. I
Yeah.
personally learned a lot of tools that's available, which we are possibly not accessing at the moment, but it's really helpful.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question on, you started off saying about the innovation part and you spoke about customers and you
Yeah.
said customer imagined innovations,
Yes.
right? So I understand what you're saying, but can you share some best practices or ways to ensure that we go towards the direction in terms of understanding customer imagined innovations?
Yeah, by that I actually meant that, earlier it was very, very important to get the insight into what the customer wants to imagine, and particularly know about the needs of the customers. But today, when I was showing you that World Innovation Network app, you know, so when you browse through the 11 requirements or 16 requirements of Procter and Gamble, they have already imagined as to what the customer would be needing. You don't have to struggle today to figure out as to what's going to be the customer imagined innovations, because that job is being done by the thinkers at the corporate level. Your job is only to figure out on those accelerators and find out as to what are they imagining. For example, sleep technologies. I mean, nobody would have thought that, one day people will be actually talking about this, the sleep technologies. So today, when you go to Procter and Gamble website, you understand about sleep technologies. Go further, and you will get to know as to what the customer imagined innovation.
Understood. Yeah, clear. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else with any other point that you want me to highlight, or you want me to explain?
Any questions, anyone? Yes, Pradeep, I see you've raised your hand.
Uh, Hi, I'm Mr. Praveen.
Hi.
Do you think maybe Tata Nano could have been saved? Maybe they came up with the concept of electric car, or a more affordable electric car, maybe when they launched it.
Yeah, I think so. But I think, it was a brilliant innovation that they did. However, the positioning of the innovation was not supported with the right business model, which led to the failure. Because I still believe that, to produce a car for about a lakh of rupees is one of the biggest price disruptions that you can create. However, the whole thing was lost because, it was not pitched at the right market. Yes, I do believe that if it was the electric version, it would have really been a great success. But anyway, I think there has been a lot of learnings for the company, and they are coming out with some very good new products now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. What is your membership base of this Young Indians of CII? How many total members are there? If you can throw some light on that.
So in YI Coimbatore, we have almost 280 members strong.
Okay, okay, great. And all over India, it will be how many?
Yeah, 3,300
81.
members.
Okay,
across the
okay.
country.
Yeah. So I think these tools that we have, the World Innovation Network and the mind mapping tools and the idea generators, will be very important and useful to your young Indians, and we can work out, as to how they can subscribe to this, etc. Once the session is over, or maybe at a later date. Because I believe that they must use these latest, tools and technologies which are available today for creating the more robust business model. Yes. Any further questions?
Any more questions? Else we'll move on to the closing remarks.
Yeah.
So I think no more questions.
Oh, great.
I now invite Gaurav, the co-team member of Innovation Vertical, for the closing remarks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
I would first like to thank Mr. Praveen Rajpal for taking out time and enlightening us on developing an innovation-driven mindset. Through today's session, we have received an interesting take on how innovation has evolved into a continuous process rather than an independent function. It is valuable to see how innovation is not limited to R&D and branches into all verticals of an organization. Thank you, sir, for opening our minds to analyzing metrics to measure innovation, the various platforms to kickstart, and the tools that can be used. I would like to now thank all the YI members for attending this session, and I'm sure everyone who attended gained a lot from this interaction. I would like to thank the YI Leadership Chapter Chair, Jai Prashant Jayachandran, the Co-Chapter Chair, Sri Kumar Velu Santanakrishna, and our Executive Member, Shakti, for providing the support required to make this session successful. Finally, I would like to thank members of the Innovation Vertical for bringing this together. So I think we can close the session now, unless there's somebody else who wants to add in.
Great. Thank you so much. And I once again take the opportunity of thanking each and every one of you for, taking the part to join this. And Vaishnavi, if you can, I'm sure you have recorded this. So if you can send
Yes,
me
we've
the
recorded.
yeah, if you can kindly send me the link to the recording, or if you're putting on the YouTube, maybe you can just share with me. That'll be very nice.
Sure, sir. We'll be sharing you the recording link, and thank you so much. I think a lot of insights and the tools that's available right now. So thank you so much for taking your time off for us.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure and the opportunity, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.